The remote data widget. The remote data widget is a widget used to generate data grid for viewing data based on remote URL. The data is read from the remote URL using JSON response type, and if it points to an array, the data is presented to the user in the form of a data grid. To use it, we click on the menu option, Add Content. This gives a dialog box from where the remote data widget can be selected from the Office and Web Publishing Tools drop-down. Clicking on the plus sign or on the pop-out button will add the widget to the page or open it in a separate window respectively. Here we're going to work with the one that has been added to the main page. So we will close the other windows and go back to the main page. So in the remote data widget, on the top right, there are buttons for maximizing the widget and for publishing it using various options. But first of all, to use the widget to generate the data grid, we need to enter the URL from where the data is required. Using a JSON response type, data is read from the remote URL when we click on Read Data. Select the array from the drop-down. In this case, it is the URL, and then click on Generate Data Grid button. This will display the data grid from the data fetched from the remote URL. To view the details of the data, user can click on View Data. This gives all the details of the data, including the name, array, values, etc. To modify the way the data is displayed, we click on the Edit Data button. First of all, we'll click on the mask select and set it on, and on the charts and make it on again. When we say OK, we find that checkboxes are there beside every record, which allows us to select multiple records. Also, there is a charts bar at the bottom. We click on the settings icon to get a dialog where we can select which type of chart needs to be displayed by setting that particular one as on. In this case, we will make the pie chart on by clicking on and then we click on OK. When we save that, a pie chart is displayed at the bottom. So here we'll just go back again to the Edit Data Grid dialog where we have the basic settings, and there are other things that can be changed. For example, the title, the height, the pagination, and the filters of the entire data grid can be changed in this. The Columns tab allows changes to the respective columns. Column name, width, the format can be changed. The width can be changed depending on the size of the data in that particular column. We can make it smaller or bigger. The format types can be either number, integer, currency, email ID, link, date, or even an image type. Properties of each column, such as whether they are filterable, editable, locked or open, whether they are hidden or visible, these can also be modified for each particular column. Once all the changes are done, we can click on OK to save them. The number of records that are visible on a page can also be changed. We can change it by selecting from a drop-down at the bottom, and the pages that are there can be browsed using the forward and backward buttons. The data grid thus generated and modified can now be saved using the Save Data Grid option. Options menu can be used to publish the widget to the website or as a button, as an email to friends, or on some social networking sites such as Twitter or Facebook. The data grid thus generated based on a remote URL can be viewed, modified, saved, and published. This widget provides a simple solution to generate a data grid according to user requirements without knowing anything about software development.